Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I still have this beautiful little sprig. You know, these holly sprigs last for such a long time. And I have a class coming up at the pop-up shop. This is a live class. And we're going to be doing brush lettering and we're going to be doing watercolor holly. So today I thought I would do a little combination. I'm not going to stay on too long. So I thought what I would do would just to demonstrate how you can use your water-based inks. And I'm talking about the little refill bottles that look like this to watercolor with and to do some lettering. So let me get this situated so you can see everything here. I have three colors. I've got yellow, red, and blue. Ooh, uh-oh. There goes my holly. Fortunately, there wasn't a lot of water in that tiny little bottle, and I've got my paper towels handy, so not a big deal. So the brush lettering class that I'm going to be doing uses a flat brush, and so I wanted to take this brush for a little test drive. So you can see that it's got a blunt edge, a little flat, and this is a 1/4 inch wide brush. And I'm just going to do some quick scribbles today, nothing fancy. But as a little warm-up, I thought what I would do would be to paint a little holly sprig for you. So I'm going to use my specimen here to do a quick sketch from. And this is the sort of thing that you can use on your holiday cards. You can use them on tags. I've used them to decorate the tops of gift boxes and treat boxes. And it's a lot of fun, and it's just a little bit special for the people that you share it with, because it's something that you did yourself. And did I mention place cards? Because they make wonderful place cards also on your holiday table. Alright, so I'm just adding a couple of leaves here. Got another one going off in this direction. And my stem. One more leaf down here. And this is a very rough sketch, nothing fancy, so you could do this in just a couple of minutes. So there you go. Alright, and I give you a good look at that. So there's my study. And I've got some water off to the side, so I just have a container of water here. Alright, and I see Kelly out there. Hey Kelly, good to see you. To the side, so I just have a So I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow, mix it with a drop of blue, and make a light green. And just put a little bit of the color on my sketch. Now usually when you see me painting, I'm using a round brush, so the point is a little bit different. I'm using this square brush basically just the corner, and I'm turning it to get the shapes I want. Alright, so there's my green. I'm going to come back into this in just a minute, but you can see how, if I zoom you in a little bit, you can see how much this looks like a watercolor already. Now I'm doing the same thing with my red for the berries. I've got my red with a touch of yellow in it, and I'm just going to go around the shape and save a little white highlight so it looks like a shiny berry. Put one in the background here and another one over here. And again, I'm just using the corner of the brush for this. Alright, and then what we need is a stem. Now the stem has a little bit more yellow in it. And there we go. So there's my first wash, and now the next thing I want to do is to take a little bit of a darker tone. So I'm going back to my green mixture, and this time I'm making it a little bit stronger. And you could do the same sort of thing with your watercolor pencils. But just a little quick and easy decoration, I think adds so much to your projects. There we go. Alright, so that just took a couple of minutes. And then I think my berries could use a little bit of extra attention, so now I'm doing just the same. I'm making a stronger mixture, and I can just drop that darker color on the shadow side, and that's going to help to give those berries more form and make them look a little juicier. Alright, and then the final thing I'm going to do is I'm mixing up my red with my blue to get a kind of a dark violet tone, a little more on the blue side. And this is really dark, so I don't want it quite that dark. I'm using a drop of water just to lighten it up a tiny bit, and I can just go into my shadow areas like so. There. Okay, so there's my quick study. And for those of you that are lucky enough to have a holly shrub on in your garden, I hope you'll go out and work from a live specimen. But if you don't, you may be able to get a one of those very realistic sprigs of holly that are used for the Christmas decorations, and just set that up so that you can see it on your work table and work from that. So this would actually make a really pretty card front. I could use it on a tag, I could cut it out. If I wanted to, I could add a few touches of gold ink to make it shiny. I'm going to put this aside and let it dry for a minute. And now I want to try some lettering. So I'm going to write the word Mary. And as I said, this brush has a 1/4 inch wide tip. So I want to measure. So off to the side here, I'm going to do what's known as a calligraphy ladder. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to measure that and check my X height. And so what I'm doing, and I didn't do a great job of this, but close enough. So I'm just going to go from the top I'm measuring from the top to the bottom, and I can see that gives me about 1 inch. So what's happening is the base of the brush, this may be measuring 1/4 inch, but the tip of the brush is kind of coming together and making it a little bit smaller here than here. If I were to flatten it out, I could probably get something that's much closer to 1/4 inch. You can see that here. But I'm actually okay with it coming together a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a guideline here. So I'm just going to measure, that looks like it's about 3/4 inch from the top. And then I'm going to measure 1 inch. All right, and then what I can do is, using my ruler, I can just put a guideline, and this is going to help me to get consistent letters. All right, now this is going to be the X height, which is the size of a lowercase letter from top to bottom without an ascender or a descender. So I'm going to go a little bit higher and lower for my ascenders and descenders, and this is going to be pretty rough. But let's see what I can do with this little brush. I've got a hair sticking up there. Okay, there's my M. My E. Two R's. And a Y. Okay, so there's an example of how you could use a flat tip brush, as you see me using here, to get some chiseled kind of a italic lettering. Now if you wanted to, I could go back to my little holly motif, and I could just add a little holly leaf at the end. And I'm just sketching this freehand with the brush. I don't have any pencil sketch to follow. I'm just making the basic holly leaf shapes, just as we did before. Add a couple of berries. Getting a darker green. Maybe add another leaf. There we go. So there's a quick little demonstration of how you can use your water-based inks to create some lettering and a little decoration for the holidays. So I hope that gave you some ideas. And if you're interested in learning more, please go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and go under the events section. You will find a lot more information about the upcoming classes that I have in the pop-up shop. And also, if you haven't subscribed to Notes from Dandelion Cottage, please do that, because I will be sending out announcements about early registration and some specials that I have coming up. So if you're interested in getting some special deals and early notification, you want to make sure that you are subscribed to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you do some holiday lettering and use various materials, I'd love to see what you do. Go ahead and post them in the private group, Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Paper Crafting Projects. I'd love to see what you do. And I will see you next time. Take care.